Hey guys, what's going on? We are analyzing Sugarloaf Mountain, the road. As you can see, the whole segment is from 561, the front side to 561A is about 3.5 miles. Highest point is about just over 300 feet. And then on Strava, the ride proper is, or the climb proper, front side, is about 0.4 miles, was featured in Phil Gammon's Worst Retirement Claremont edition. I'll link that video below in the details. But he claims the KOM, and then our local boy Steve Prezula is the KOM for some of the other segments that include the climb proper. But we're going to explore the newly paved Sugarloaf Mountain Road. As you can see, we just turned on from 561A heading, obviously this ride that I did was rainy, but we are heading down the descent, calm before the storm, or just before the climb. And then we get past this smooth kind of false flat area. Actually, it goes down, but then it kind of starts to climb. At this mailbox, you'll start to see that we are ascending. And again, the ride proper is about 0.4 miles. Nicely paved, very smooth. When we would used to descend down, it would be smoother to descend on the left side of the road going down the front side. But it's nice to have it fully paved up. Here I'm just going pretty easy, just sitting in the saddle, just getting up the climb, really enjoying newly paved. This was my first time riding it after it was paved. And actually this was also my first time with my new Garmin 830. It worked really well. I did not have any issues with the water on the screen. Touch screen worked out perfectly, so that was nice. Here we're just grinding. I don't know how far up I am, maybe halfway here, but it's a pretty constant gradient. I think it's about an 8% average. I don't know what the peak gradient is. I think my Garmin's in the past have indicated probably around 12 to 13%. It slowly starts to smooth out here. We get to the house on the right is the one with all the vintage signs, the gas signs and stuff like that. So that's a pretty cool house. I'd love to check out what he has, kind of like American Pickers. But once I get to the top, what I like to do is, as we make it to the turn, heading towards a water stop at Harry Fenstead's house, I like to do my best to make it at that turn point at about 20 miles an hour. So a popular place to park is on this right-hand turn there. It's a little cul-de-sac on the top of the climb. A lot of people park there and then do hill repeats. But we're about to make the right-hand turn here. And again, I like to see if I can make it to about 20 miles an hour. That gives me a little bit of work versus just resting when I get to the top here. And then the very famous man known to the community, if you've ever ridden up Sugarloaf, Mr. Harry Finstead. This is his property right here on the right. As you can see, some guy stopping for water. Harry every day has water coolers filled up there. It's amazing. He has his address on his white picket fence there, and people sending letters from afar who travel and utilize our community roads and enjoy Sugarloaf Mountain for training. Here on the backside, we're descending. I actually like climbing on the backside. A little bit longer, less steep, but it's a good tempo climb. We're making it down here. At the bottom, it used to be a little rough, but again, now it's paved. Getting close to the bottom here, and then it'll have a little riser before we level off and take a left. Sugarloaf Mountain the road itself used to be pretty rock and chip road, so your body would definitely feel the bumps of the road, and there were a lot of cracks. So the paved road, in my opinion, was well needed, but definitely much more enjoyable terrain. This corner here was notorious for being very sketchy, with sand on the inside corner and a lot of little rocks, loose rocks, so it'd be pretty easy to take this corner in the wrong line and wipe out. So now we're going, this road was really chipped up. It's obviously smooth now. A little bit of false flat right here before it has a little descent, and then the sharp right hand turn. Again, all this feels nice and smooth as we just enjoy the new roads. It's not kicking up, but it has a gradual little rise right here. Starts to level off, and it'll do a pretty quick little descent down. I actually like doing Sugarloaf from the backside, coming in from 561A and then going down the front side. I think it just has a better steady climb and better steady training tempo. And we're starting to descend here, so speed starts to pick up. Other brave souls out there training in the rain. So we're descending here. This you used to ride the yellow line because the road was so chip seal, and the yellow line was smoother, but there were a lot of cracks and little breaks in the yellow line, and between the yellow line there was a pretty decent crack in the road, so you wouldn't want to get a tire stuck in that. We're getting a good picking up some good speed here going down the descent. Again, it was a pretty wet one out. Haven't ridden in the rain in quite some time, but the smooth road made it much more tolerable and pleasant. Didn't feel like you had to work as hard. And we're coming up to the right-hand turn here. So this right-hand turn, Notorious had this little bump in the pavement change, so you'd have to grab a lot of brakes and make it around this turn safely, but you can ride it pretty well now, even in the wet. Good grip, the pavement felt really good, and then through this, the chip seal used to be pretty terrible, so again, you'd ride the yellow line, and it's kind of a little bit of descent, and then it has a little rise. Gradual. All this is gradual before it hits 561A. Nice to be able to ride on the right side of the road instead of trying to hug or ride the yellow line again, because it was much more smooth. Now the whole road feels great, much more enjoyable for our community, cycling community. Those traveling, I'm sure you guys will enjoy it as well. Also, a common area to park is where we'll turn off onto 561A. A lot of guys park at the end of this road here, at the end of Sugarloaf, as it meets the corner of 561A. So you're going down the descent here, and you see above or straight ahead, there's a little bit of riser. Very gradual, but again, the terrain used to be pretty chip seal, so you can take it pretty good at speed, pick up some good momentum, taking it all the way to 561A. So I've been asked a couple times, hey, what am I using for my footage? What kind of hardware? The front camera is a GoPro. On the bottom side of the K-edge mount, and then on the top is my Garmin, and on the back I'm using what's called the Cycliq Fly6. It's a rear light combo with a camera in it, so it's a nice combination, not overly bulky, good image stabilization for both cameras, good clarity as well. The Fly6 is the latest model, the CE, which has a huge improvement in video quality and in the brightness of the light. It's definitely almost doubled on the lumens. So here, as you see, a car parked on the left here. Very common for guys to park here and do some hill climbing. At the stop sign, it's 561A, and that's where you go to hit up Hancock or Scrub J. If you go to the left, you can head towards the wall or into Mountain Rd. There you have it, guys. This is KSquared Cycling, the Khoi